Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, a.k.a. Red Onion Randy. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Now, and finally, at a level 3, Buckingham Correctional Center. Stone's throw from where I grew up. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot, at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Okay, this is a crazy ass story right here, and it actually goes back to a previous podcast episode I did on Pastor Israel. I kind of originally was thinking I wasn't going to do this one. I was kind of thinking it was probably best to just let sleeping dogs lie. But something happened that made me change my mind, so now I just don't care. So, here it is. And you're welcome, because it's a crazy one. So when I'm at King Mountain, come across this guy named Israel, and as I said in the previous episode, which I'll give you a little quick breakdown, though I won't go through the whole thing, as exacting. You can go back and listen to that episode if you haven't heard it yet already, or you just want to refresh your memory on what happened and then come back and listen to this one. That's perfectly fine. So, Israel was it was a strange cat. There's no question about that. Like, when he come into the party, he pretended that he was a Jeet Kune Do master. He literally had the audacity to tell me one day, like, man, please, whatever you do, bro, do not fight me. I don't want to hurt you. Like, I really like you. Please don't ever fight me. I'm like, all right, bear that in mind. So, long story short, he's hanging out with this guy named Meathead, and Meathead is getting him out of the pod in the building over to the chaplain's office to hang out, because they're both Christian believers and so on and so forth. Hence the whole Pastor Israel name. Now, Israel comes back one day because he gets kicked out. The COs called on to what was going on, and they didn't want him over there. So he got ran up out of there, and I think he got chewed out a little bit, but, no big deal. It is what it is, So I don't know what happened. I don't know what made Israel go and get some drugs from one of the Bloods next door and sell his TV for it. He gets high. Drugs run out. He goes and tells Lieutenant unit manager up there at King Mountain that they stole his TV. They bullied him out of his TV and took it. So obviously has no choice but to go into one pod, which was next door, and two pods. I was in A1. We was all me, Pastor, and Meathead, and everybody, Scott, and everybody was in A1. A2 was the kitchen pod, which is where the blood was at. So they went and shook down, and they found the TV because it still had Israel's name on it. Now, he goes and tells the Bloods when they pull up on him, nah, man, it wasn't me, man. This dude, Scott, he overheard us when we was making the deal and everything, and he went and told the people. Like, I didn't say nothing. So they pulled up on Scott about it. Scott's like, come on, man, y'all know this ain't true. Like, I didn't snitch. I didn't tell blah, blah. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Dude just wanted his TV back and get free drugs from him. And, so, long story short, again, I know I've already said that, sorry. I'm just trying to keep from going into too much detail, but give you enough to go on if you decide not to go back and just listen to this one alone. Israel winds up getting his ass beat not once, but twice on the boulevard in front of the chow hall. And literally both times I'm standing right behind him. And both times this Jeet Kune Do master gets his ass whooped, who begged me not to ever get into a fight with him. So apparently, as much of a as he is, and would not even fight back, I don't know what in the world that makes me, but I should probably kill myself quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because I damn sure don't deserve to live. If I'm weaker than him, he would destroy me. And yeah, I really don't deserve to live. Now, things happen. Scott gets transferred back in like November of 2024. I come down here to Buckingham, which Scott got transferred to Buckingham. I finally, thank God, I finally got out of them damn mountains, April 15th of 2025. So I'm down here in my pod, and, I seen him in the chow hall one day, and I just nodded, Scott, what's up? Oh, hey, man, blah, 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 and I'm good, and I just kept it moving. I spoke to him a few times up at King Mountain, but we never hung out by no stretch of the imagination, though I would help him out every now and then if he needed a little something. Now, eventually, Scott winds up moving into the pod that I'm currently in right now, in D2 here in Buckingham. And he did not really fit the pod. He did not really fit the vibe of the pod or what was going on in the pod. Scott's a little crazy. He's definitely weird, and everything. And quite frankly, he was doing really, really good up there at King Mountain. Like, he was in church. He was, he was teaching Bible studies. He was doing stuff like that. He had a job as a inmate advisor, meaning, whenever a guy catches a charge, if they want an inmate advisor to help them try to beat the charge, Scott, that was his job. Like, he would go over there. He knew the policy. He knew the procedure. And, he actually helped get quite a few guys off. Like, he did genuinely know his job. He wasn't Johnny Cochran by no stretch of the imagination, but he's pretty damn good at his job, though. I give him credit. Like, he was good at it. He was doing good. But he come down here to Buckingham, and I guess, all the good that he was doing, man, just went straight out the window, because he sold his TV, he sold his tablet, his fan, everything that he had. He wound up over a little period of time selling for drugs. So when he comes in the pod, he starts telling me this story about, yeah, man, dudes went up in my cell and stole all my stuff while I was in the chow hall, and, so he told me one story. And then like a week later, it was a little bit different. And then a week after that, he'd talk about it be different again. Like, it kept changing up. Like, the thing is, I know a junkie when I see a junkie. I already knew he never sold his stuff. Literally, one of the first things people hit me to when I got here that knew me from King Mountain was up there. It's like, man, you remember that dude Scott? I'm like, yeah. Shit, man, he sold all this stuff. He's getting high as a freaking kite. He's doing this and doing that. So, all right, sucks for him. But when he come into the pod, I'm trying to be a nice guy. Like, I'm trying to be more inclusive. I'm trying to be more tolerant. I'm trying to be more patient. more understanding, and so on. But that boy made it hard. I'm not gonna lie. Crazy thing is, I started to enjoy his company a little bit because he wasn't really getting that high when he first come in this pod. Just, he really didn't have anything. His connections kind of dried up, so on and so forth. So it wasn't that bad. And as always, if I can try to talk some sense into somebody, if I can try to give somebody some wisdom, if I can try to encourage them to get on the right path. And look, I get it, man. We all screw up. We all fall down. We all make mistakes. We all get our ass whooped. That's one thing life will do to every single human being is whoop your ass. Even Jesus had his ass whooped. And if you think I'm on that one, just read the Gospels. They tortured him to death. They crucified him. If that's not life whooping your ass, I don't know what is. Granted, when he came up off that canvas swinging, he swung in a big damn way. He swung so hard he actually come back to life and now was a god. So, not a bad recovery. I believe in recovery. I genuinely believe, and I'm not promoting my book that just came out, but I genuinely believe you ain't beyond saving. Everybody can be saved if you want to be saved. And that's the question. Do you want to be saved? So I try. I helped a guy out with some coffee here and there. I helped a guy out with some soups. I helped a guy out with a little bit of candy, stuff like that. I never once paid for any debt, but I go to the chow hall. Sometimes the food here is great. However, sometimes they shake the spoon a little bit, especially if you're one of the last pods called and they start running out of stuff. Is what it is. But if it is a little light, and he's hungry, I'd throw a soup his way. Now, he calls me up one day to his cell. All right, fine. I get up there. He's like, come in. All right, fine. Now, what do you want? It's like, man, read this. Okay, what is it? He said, man, just read it and let me know. All right, fine. I read it. It's about 6 pages front and back. And one of the most ridiculous stories, matter of fact, you know what? Let me change this. Let me change this angle. Let's say everything he claimed in that little expose or whatever you want to call it was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but God's own special truth. You rip it up and you flush it down the toilet. Because he asked me afterwards, what do I do with this? And that's exactly what I told him. Rip it up. Don't throw it in the trash. Flush it down the toilet. He's like, wow, man, this was... Okay. This is what he was claiming. He claimed that Lieutenant and Sergeant at Keene Mountain contracted him to pay the Bloods to murder Israel because apparently Israel was a child molester. Now, they didn't want him going home. So he tells me this story, and it's just... So apparently they were paying him commissary. Apparently they gave him a TV, and because he had access to people's records and so on and so forth, because he was the inmate advisor, he had to help people prepare for their cases, their charges, and so on and so forth. So he kind of knew who was snitches and who wasn't, and who was trying to make deals to get out of their charge. And you'd be surprised at how many gang members use that tactic right there. I'd say at least freaking 80% of them. So he actually, Scott supposedly, pulled up on a couple of Bloods and said, look, I know you're snitching because I'm the inmate advisor. I've seen the paperwork that you wrote. So unless you want me to take copies of this and pass them out to every other blood on the compound, you're going to kill Israel. The COs are going to mess the charges up so that you don't get found guilty. And I'm going to help you get off. I'm going to help you beat this charge. And it's all above board. Like, this goes up to the highest. Like, they want this guy dead. They do not want him going home. There is freaking no truth to this at all. First of all, I know Lieutenant. I was there. If Lieutenant wants something taken care of, Lieutenant is going to take care of it himself. Now, maybe Sergeant, honestly, I could kind of see that a little bit. I think he might actually tell a dude, like, look, bro, go whoop that ass right there, and I'll make sure you beat the charge. I can actually kind of see that one happening a little bit. I still don't think it happened because I think if like, he's not going to orchestrate this crap. Like, there's way too many other guys that you would go to that are reliable, that are actually proficient and have done stuff like this. Like, you know, you have hitmen in prison. You can actually go and pay these guys, and they just don't care. As long as you have the money put on their books before they do the first thing, oh, they'll do it, and they're known for it. Like, that's just part and parcel of being in prison. Like, you know, guys will do anything for money pretty much in here. Not everybody. Some, you know, have morals and integrity and value and honor and all that stuff, but you got some guys, man, you know, life means literally nothing to them. They don't care. As long as they get what they want, as long as they get to eat how they want to eat, drink how they want to drink, buy the things they want to buy, they could care less how they get it. You're not going to hire Scott to do this for you. It's just not going to happen. First of all, bro, you're snitching on the police. It doesn't matter if they're police or not. The only time it is acceptable for you to open your mouth and tell people about what's going on is if the COs are actually abusing you. So if you get to fighting with somebody and they've got you on the ground and they put you in shackles and handcuffs and they still continue to whoop your ass and set the dogs on you to bite you and, you know, screaming, man, stop resisting when you wasn't resisting at all, then yeah, you write that up. You push paperwork. You try to get it to the media's attention. You try to do all of these things, by all means, because that is crossing the line. If the CO wants to whoop your ass, he needs to be a man, take the shackles and the handcuffs off of you, stand you up on your feet, and give you a one-on-one. And if he ain't willing to do that, he has to put his hands on you, or he has to get the dog to bite you. He's a bitch. He's a punk-ass coward bitch. I'll say it to the face. I'll say it on the podcast. I'll write it in a book. I don't care. At the end of the day, if you got, and you will only attack somebody when they're in shackles and handcuffs, or you will only attack someone when there's 25 of you and you're dressed in riot gear, you're a bitch.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So I can understand, and I would, in that situation, yeah, I'm going to file paperwork on that. I'm going to sue over that. I'm going to win over that. But I will never, ever open my mouth and sit there and say, hey, this CO tried to pay me to do this. Like, that's snitching, or this CO is bringing this in, or I saw this CO do that. Bro, that's snitching. You don't snitch on the police. You don't snitch on the end. You keep your mouth shut. And I told him this. I explained this to him. But no, he did not want to listen to my advice. All right, that's all we got for episode 1. I'll be back with episode 2. All right, that's all the time we have for now. I appreciate you listening to me more than you'll probably ever know. I just want to let you know, don't forget to check out my website, RedOnionRandy.com. And for those of you who want to hear more, or you want to listen to the episodes commercial-free, or hear me and my editor discuss a little bit further into the episodes, please go to Patreon, join me, support me. It's only $5 a month. And just a reminder, I have a cookbook out. You're going to eat that. You can find it on our website or Amazon Kindle or Amazon Print.
Thank you for using GTL.